We will start lying down today. So come on to your backs. Start with your knees bent, feet resting about mat distance apart. Allowing the knees to knock it in together. Maybe bringing one hand to your belly, one hand to your chest. And take a moment, a deep breath in. And a long exhale out to allow yourself that release and settle in. And just start to sense where you feel your breath move beneath your hands. Not trying to alter the way that you breathe, but just to notice. Noticing where you feel your breath more. Relaxing any tension or gripping you feel in your jaw or your tongue. Releasing any tension or gripping you feel at the throat or the neck. And start to shift your awareness to the exhalations. Noticing as you slowly release your breath, the seeping out of the breath. Following it all the way to that point where it disappears into a slight pause. Recognizing how the next inhalation is born from the pause at the end of each exhalation. Taking a few more breaths just to allow yourself to fully come into this moment. To soften into this space. To soften into the body. When you're ready, walk your feet back to sit bone distance apart and allow the knees to stack above your heels. Draw your right knee in towards your chest. And using again the exhalation to soften into the front of your hip crease, so allowing the knee to move towards the chest or the shoulder. Not forcing it, but noticing where you feel resistance and can you allow for that softening into the resistance. And then take the hands behind your hamstring, behind your thigh, and interlace your fingers, and then straighten your right leg as much as you can, pressing the back of the thigh into your hands and firming the front of your thigh. And just point and flex your ankle or your toe a couple of times and just notice the difference. Maybe rotating the ankle a little bit in both directions. And then flex the ankle, reaching the toes towards the shin, reach the heel towards the sky, and really press the back of your hamstring into your hand. So firming the front of your thigh to find more length on the back of your thigh. Relax any tension or gripping you feel in the neck or shoulders, the jaw. And then bend the knee in towards the chest again. Reach across your chest with your left hand and grab the outside of your right hamstring. So taking the left hand on the outside of the leg, and find that muscle on the outside of your left or your right hamstring. It feels kind of like a guitar string. And then again, straighten the leg and pull it over to the left. Take your right thumb and place it in the hip crease. Pull the hip crease down. As you pull the right leg as far to the left as you can, keep flexing your ankle. You can start to straighten your left leg to the ground at this point. So pulling the right hip crease down, keeping the hip points in neutral. Keeping the hips grounded on the floor. So not trying to take it over as far as you can, but keeping the hips, the back of the hips on the floor. Keep the right ankle flexed, and then bend your knee, and then straighten it again. As you straighten it, pull that guitar chord kind of towards you, and bend, and straighten. So each time you straighten, pulling that muscle that you feel beneath your left fingertips down towards your hip and towards your head. Bend the right knee in towards the chest and release the right foot to the ground. Hug the left knee in towards your chest. Notice if the left hip wants to lift up, and try to keep the front of your hip points in line and allow the front of your hip crease to soften. And then reach the hands behind the hamstring, interlacing your fingers the opposite way. So the opposite first finger is in front, and then work on straightening your left leg. Notice as you straighten, does your left hip lift up and draw it back down? And then point and flex your ankle. Notice any tension or gripping in your neck, your shoulders, your jaw, your tongue, soften. And then start to rotate your ankle. And move it in the opposite direction. And flex the ankle, strongly pulling the toes towards the head and pushing the back of your leg into your hands from the front of your thigh. And notice if the hips are staying level or if one is trying to lift up. And bend the knee in towards the chest. Reach your right hand across your chest and come to the outer edge of your left hamstring. So reaching behind your knee and finding again that muscle where you feel that kind of guitar string. Left thumb comes into the hip crease, pull the hip down, and then keeping the back of the hips on the floor, take the knee to the right as much as you can. Straighten your right leg down. And then straighten the leg. And just bend and straighten the knee. Each time you straighten, pull the guitar string down towards your hip and towards your head. So you're kind of getting this traction. This is the lateral hamstring muscle, and it tends to get tight and it tends to have an effect on the knee. So this is a good stretch for that lateral hamstring, which can add some mobility to the knee. And pull the knee in towards the chest, bring the right knee in towards the chest, hug. I'm going to straighten the left leg down to the ground, or actually bring both feet to the ground. So feet on the ground, knees still bent. And take the arms out, T to the body. So we're going to do a twist in the opposite way that we normally twist. So we're going to twist the upper body instead of the lower body. So inhale. And as you exhale, bring your right hand across your chest and touch your left hand. And then roll back onto the floor, extend the right arm out to the side. As you exhale, twist to the left, reaching your right palm on top of your left palm. And back down. Do this 2 more times. Try to keep the hips on the floor, so only twisting in the upper body. 1 more, twist to the left, right palm comes on top of left palm, and come back down. And bring both arms out to the side, T to the body. We'll go to the other side. So hips stay on the floor. And as you exhale, reach your left hand across your chest and reach towards your right hand. And rotate back. 3 more. So as you twist, try to keep your hips grounded on the floor. Feeling that rotation come more from the thoracic spine, the mid spine, then the lumbar spine. Rush dog, you're right in the way. And release back. Go on. Go on, Rush. Bend your right knee in towards your chest. So we're going to put these 2 things together. So straighten your left leg long to the floor and reach your right leg straight above your hip. Pull the toes towards your shin, feeling the front of your quad engage. Bring the arms out to the side, T to the body, palms facing up. Continue to look at your foot. You want your foot to stay exactly where it is. So as you twist to the left, push the right foot up towards the sky and come onto the left side of your body. Roll back down, right hand comes back across the chest, reach it out to the side. Look at your right foot, keep gazing as your foot as you reach the right hand across, push the foot straight up towards the sky and come onto the left side body. So really push the foot up. So your right hip is stacked directly on top of your left hip. You might have to look at me because I don't think either one of you are doing what I'm doing. And I know it's really hard to see me right now. So roll back down. So your back comes onto the floor. Reach the right arm back across. Look at your right foot. Push the right foot up towards the sky as you twist and lift up onto your left side body. Push the foot straight up. And we'll do this 1 more time. Roll back onto your back. Look at your right foot, push the right foot up towards the sky as you twist over to the left, come onto your left side body. Keep pushing the right foot up. Bring your right hand underneath your head. The left hand underneath your head. And then straighten the arm out to the side, palm facing up, and bring your right hand on top of your left hand. So keep pushing the foot straight up. Left foot presses into the floor. Toe on the lower belly by drawing the pubic bone towards the navel and the lower ribs in. Bring the right hand down in front of your chest. Roll back onto your back. Bend the right knee in towards your chest. And then straighten the right leg down as you bend the left knee up. Straighten the left leg straight above the hip. Arms out to the side, teach the body. Start to look up towards your left foot. Keep looking at your left foot as you reach the left hand across the chest and towards the right palm. Push the right foot up towards the sky. Roll back onto your back. Exhale, push left foot up. Reach right palm on top of, left palm on top of right palm. Roll back down. Right foot, left foot stays up. Push it up as you roll onto your right side body. Roll back down. Last time, twist to the right, push the left foot up. So your foot, your right foot, hip, shoulder, and now elbow, bringing the right hand underneath the head, are all in one line. And then straighten the right arm, palm facing up. Bring the left palm on top of the right. Keep pushing the left foot up. Right foot presses into the floor. You should probably feel some work going on in your outer hip. You might feel that you're rolling, so tuck the tailbone towards your navel. Then bring your left hand in front of your chest, roll back onto your back, and hug both knees into your chest. Bring the hands behind the knees, roll up. Come to hands and knees. And shoulders above your wrist, hands spread, knees below your hips. And take a couple of rounds of cat-cow just to kind of stretch out the hips a little bit, because you might have felt that in your outer hips. And we're going to go back to the outer hips. So just take a couple of movements through this to feel a little bit of a release. And come into a neutral spine. Bring your knees together, ankles together. Bend your left knee, kicking your heel towards your hip. Press through the hands, toe on the lower belly. And bring the left leg out to the side. So kind of like fire hydrant dog type thing. Come down. And do this a few times. So each time you lift the leg out to the side, try to keep your pelvis pointing down towards the floor. So the hip points, the front of the hips, square down towards the floor. So the movement is more in the hip joint than trying to see how high you can get the knee. We're asking the outer hips, again, to engage. Bring the left knee down, knees together. Bend the right knee, kick the heel towards the hip. And tone the lower belly, push the hands down, and then start to lift right knee out to the side. And the first couple of times that you do it, you might feel that you want to open the hip, but try to resist that as much as possible by keeping the hip point squared towards the floor. And notice where you feel this. So these are our glute medius muscles, and they sometimes tend to be a little lazy. Come back to hands and knees. Sit back into child's pose. You can rotate your wrist And reach the hands towards the front of your mat. Shift forward to tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Press your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Lift your sit bones. Draw the lower ribs towards your hip points and your hip points towards your ribs. And then again, lift and spread your sit bones. Come way up onto your toes. Look between your thumbs. Stay as high up on your tippy toes as you can. Keep the hips as high as you can as you walk to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, bring the fingertips into the hip creases. Lift up again halfway, tone the belly, drawing the lower ribs towards the hips. And then lift all the way up. So you can have your feet up to hip distance apart or big toes touch, heels slightly separated. We're gonna go through some variations of a sun salutation. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head, gaze up, lower ribs down and in. Exhale, either knees straight or bent, hinge from your hips, fold forward. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, hands to your shins, straighten your legs, reach your head, chest forward, hips back, firm the front of your thighs. Exhale, hinge forward. Step your feet to the back of your mat into a plank pose. Bring your right elbow to the floor, left elbow to the floor, so elbow plank. Spread the fingers, press the elbows down and draw them towards the toes. Reach your collarbones towards your chin, reach your tailbone towards your heels, firm the lower belly. Inhale here. As you exhale, look towards your chest and walk your feet up into an elbow down dog or dolphin pose. And then inhale, walk your feet back to elbow plank. Pull elbows back, head, chest, reach forward. Exhale, walk back up, dolphin pose. So walk the toes as close to the head as you can, push your head towards your toes. One more time, walk back, elbow plank. Push hands down, pull elbows back, reach collarbones towards chin, tailbone towards heels. Exhale, tuck the chin, walk feet forward as you push your head towards your toes. Push your hands down. Push your elbows down. Push them forward as you reach your chest towards your toes. Look at your thumbs. Walk your feet back to elbow plank, and then drop knees, hips, belly. Pull elbows back as you reach your head, chest forward. Pull the lower belly off the floor. Release. Chest to the floor. Bring your heels in line with the bottom of your rib cage. Come up, hands and knees. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Breathe. Firm the front of your thighs. Press them back. Pull your inner thighs back. Hug your outer hips in. Inhale, look up between your thumbs, come up onto your toes. Keep your hips high as you tippy toe to the front of your mat. Inhale, hands to shins. Reach head, chest forward, hips back, firm the lower belly. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, reach up, stretch up, come all the way up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the arms over your head, look up, or Vasisthasana. Exhale, hinge from your hips, either bent knees or straight. Lower down, Uttanasana. Inhale, hands to your shins. Lift head, chest, firm the thighs, lift and spread sit bones. Exhale, fold, hands to the ground, step to the back of the mat, plank pose. Lower down to your right elbow. Lower down to your left elbow. Come up onto your left hand. Come up onto your right hand. Lower down to your left elbow. Lower down to your right elbow. Come onto your right hand. Lift up onto your left hand. Right elbow, left. Left hand, right. Keep going, alternating the elbow that you start with. And as you're going from side to side, try to minimize the amount of movement that your hips move side to side. Last time, left, right, right, left. Shift forward, lower all the way down to the floor. Toes point back. Thighs press down, pubic bone presses down. Inhale, lift up, cobra. Elbows draw back, shoulders down the back. Exhale, lower to the floor. Press legs down, pubic bone down. Inhale, up, cobra. Shoulders down, chest high. Exhale, lower down. One more time, inhale, lift up, cobra. Tuck the toes under. Press the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Firm the front of the thighs, press them back. Lift and spread the sit bones. Find your inner thighs, draw them to the wall behind you. Find your outer hips. Pull them in and towards the wall behind you. Inhale, come up onto your toes, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees and step or hop to the front of the mat, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, either hands to shins or fingers to floor. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up, stretch up, arms over your head, gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more variation. Inhale, reach up, stretch up, look up. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step to the back of your mat, plank pose. Come down onto your right elbow. Come down onto your left elbow. Lower the knees to the floor, kick heels towards the hip, and rotate onto your right elbow and stack your left knee on top of your right knee. So it's kind of a modified side plank. Bring your left hand behind your head. Lower the hips to the floor and then squeeze the hips up to lift the hips off the floor. Drop right hip down, lift. Drop right hip down, lift. Right hip down, lift and hold. Keep your knees together, lift the right foot off the left foot. Drop the foot down, keep your heels together, open your knees. Drop the right knee, the left knee down, keep the knees together, lift the left foot off the right foot. Lower the foot down. Lift the knees open, so think clamshells. I have really bad pants on today. Lower. One more time, lift the heel off. Lower. One more time, open, clamshell. Close, lower the hips. Bring the elbows back to the floor and shift to the left knee. Bring your right hand behind your head. Drop the hips to the floor. Press the hips up. Drop the left hip to the floor. Press up. So knee, hip, and shoulder all in one line. Hips drop. Lift, hold. Keep the knees together. Lift the right foot off the left foot as high as you can. Bring the feet together. Lift the right knee off the left knee. Lower down. Keep the knees together. Lift right foot off left foot. Lower. Open knees. lower, lift the foot, lower, open knees, lower, bring the hips to the ground, come back onto your elbows. Lower chest down, heels in line with the bottom of the rib cage. Inhale, press up, cobra. Straighten the elbows, lift the thighs, up dog. Exhale, press back, down dog. Firm the front of the thighs, inner thighs draw back. Outer hips draw back. Lift and spread your sit bones. Rib points towards the hips. Inhale, come up onto your toes, gaze at your thumbs. Bend your knees, exhale, step or hop. Front of the mat, Vasisthasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hinge forward fold. Inhale, reach up, stretch up, arms over your head, gaze up towards your thumbs. Exhale, hands to heart center. So making sure that you're at the front of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips. So you want to feel the ridge of your pelvis with your hands. So find the hip points with your fingertips and the back edge of your pelvis with your thumbs. And make sure that they are balanced. So notice if your hip points dip forward and take them back, or notice if your pubic bone dips forward and just find center. Bring your right foot forward and notice what happens to your hips. So we're going to go through some range of motion. We want to keep the hips in neutral the whole time. So hip points pointing forward and one hip does not lift higher than the other. So take your right foot as far towards the left edge of your mat as you can and touch your toe to the ground. Then lift it up, take it out to the side, pause. Notice if the right hip wants to lift, draw it back in, which means you have to hug the left glute. And then take the leg back. Notice what's going on in the pelvis and try to keep it balanced. Touch the toe to the outside of the left edge of your mat. And then bring it back out to the side. And over in front to the left side of your mat. So make a few rotations going through this full range of motion. Trying to create as little movement in your hips as possible. They will tilt slightly forward as you take the leg back, but try to minimize that. And although it feels like we're doing all the work in the right leg, as you balance on your left leg and try to keep that pelvis motion minimal, you're going to feel how much the glutes of the left leg have to work. So the next time you bring your right foot back, step all the way to the back of your mat and come into Vasisthasana 2. So warrior 2. Bend deep into your left knee. Bring again your hands to your pelvis. Firm through the 4 points of both feet. As you inhale, straighten your right leg. As you exhale, bend. Try to bring the knee to where it bends all the way to 90 degrees and just kind of go back and forth between bent knee, 90 degrees, and straight leg. Try to keep the movement in the pelvis minimal. It may help to bring the fingertips into the left hip crease and kind of pull the leg bone down as you deepen into the hip crease and keep it grounded as you straighten. Straighten the left leg, bring the arms out to the side. As you exhale, triangle pulse. So bring your hand to the shin, floor, or a block. Firm the front of your left thigh, rotate the knee out. Press to the inner edge of your left foot, outer edge of your right foot. Rotate your heart open towards your right hand, gaze towards your right thumb. Bring your right hand to your hip. Gaze down at your left foot. Bend your left knee. Bring your hand in front of your left foot slightly off to the left. Shift your weight into your left foot as you straighten your right leg up and out to the side. So the pose that we did at the beginning of class, when we press the foot up towards the sky, that is your standing leg. So push the foot into the floor and then stack your right hip on top of your left hip. Tuck your tailbone towards your navel. Draw your lower ribs down and in. Bend your left knee, step your right foot to the back of the mat. Frame your left foot with your hands. Take your right hand to the floor. Left hand to the knee, pull the knee forward. And then rotate towards your belly, towards your inner left thigh. Lift your right thigh a little higher. Right hand reaches up. Bring both hands to the floor. Step to the front of your mat into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up, stretch up, arms over your head, gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then bring your hands back to your hips. Balance on your right foot. Take your left foot forward, balance out your pelvis, and take your left foot towards the right tip of your mat. So crossing over. Take it out to the side, pause. Find balance in your hips. You have to squeeze your outer right hip so that your left hip doesn't feel the need to lift. Take it behind, touch the right side of your mat with your left toe. Balance out your pelvis and then start to move through this, trying to maintain that even pelvis as you take it forward and back and out to the side. So really concentrating on how much you have to work that outer right hip to stay balanced. One more time out in front. And the next time you take the leg back, step to the back of your mat and come into Virabhadrasana 2. Bend right knee to 90 degrees, widen your stance as needed. So you can find that outer hip muscle. Hands to the hips, try to keep the pelvis in neutral. Straighten the right leg and bend. Straighten and bend. Once you know the pelvis is staying in neutral, bring the right fingertips into the hip crease. And as you bend into your right hip crease, pull the leg bone deep into the hip socket. So you're kind of rotating it down. The next time you straighten, stay straight, arms out to the side. Trikonasana, triangle pose. So bring your right hand to the shin, floor, or block. Press the front of the leg bone deep into the hip socket. Press to the inner edge of your right foot, outer edge of your left foot. Rotate heart towards your thumb. Gaze towards your thumb. Look down at your right foot. Bend your right knee. Bring your right hand in front of your right foot and slightly out to the right. Shift your weight to the right foot and lift left leg up and out to the side. Flex the left ankle strongly. Press to the 4 points of the right foot. Hug the outer right hip in. And stacking the left hip on top of the right. Take your pubic bone towards your navel, rib cage towards your hips. Bring both hands to the ground, bend your right knee, step your left foot to the back of your mat.
Left hand inside of your right foot, right hand to your knee. Pull your right knee forward as you deepen into your front hip crease. Lift the back thigh high. And start to twist your belly towards your right inner thigh. Lift. Right hand up. Keep lifting the back of your left thigh. Nice deep hip crease. Bring both hands to the floor. Step to the back of your mat into plank pose. Shift forward, lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, scoot forward and up to upward facing dog. Exhale, press back, down dog. Firm the inner thighs, press them back. Firm the outer hips, pull them back. Inhale, come up onto your toes, gaze between your thumbs. Bend your knees, exhale, step or hop, front of the mat, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hinge forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, reach up, stretch up, arms over your head, gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Bring your hands back to your hips. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Bend your left knee forward. So finding that strong outer right hip. Keep your hips facing forward and bring your left knee out to the side. Bring it forward. Bring it out. Bring it forward. Bring it out. Keep it out. Keep the hip points facing forward. Take your left foot, place it on your inner right thigh. So tree pose, Vrikshasana. Hands to heart center, press. Inner right thigh into left foot into inner right thigh. Take the tailbone towards the floor, arms over your head. Squeeze your outer right hip in, so find the outer hip stability. And lift your left foot off your inner thigh, keeping the knee out to the side. Turn the foot towards the back of the mat. Step to the back of the mat, Virabhadrasana 2. Warrior 2. Sink a little deeper into the front hip crease. Knee above ankle joint. Hug the right hip in and draw the hip crease down. Rotate ribs towards the long edge of your mat. Reach through fingertips. Relax your shoulders. Inhale, straighten your right knee. Exhale, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Hands to the floor or the shin. Firm the front of the thigh. Rotate heart towards thumb. Inhale. As you exhale, bend the right knee. So side angle pose. As you inhale, straighten. Trikonasana. Exhale, bend. Side angle. Inhale, straighten. Trikonasana. One more time, bend. Bring the right hand out in front of your right foot. Again, transition, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. The left leg lifts high. Firm the outer right hip in, stack left hip on top of right. Navel in. Tailbone towards pubic bone. Bend the right knee, step the left foot to the back of the mat, frame the right foot. Left hand to the ground. Come to the outer edge of your right foot and left foot, hover your right foot over your left foot. So side plank hover. Bring both hands to the floor. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Firm the front of the thighs, press them back. Lift and spread your sit bones. Pubic bone towards navel, ribs towards hips. Inhale, come up onto your toes, gaze forward. Exhale, bend, step, or hop. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up, stretch up, arms over your head, gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands to your hips. Shift the weight into your left foot, bend your right knee forward. Squeeze your outer left hip. Keep your hip points facing forward. Bring the knee out to the right. Bring it forward. Take it out. So only take the knee as far out as you can with the hips forward, knees forward. Knee out. Keep it there. Take your hand, grab your foot or ankle, and bring your right foot to the inner left thigh. Balance off the pelvis, hands to heart. Press right foot into left thigh into right foot. Make sure the left glute is still engaged, and then reach arms over your head. Tailbone towards your left heel. Lower ribs drawing down and in. Make sure outer left hip is engaged. Lift your right foot off of your inner left thigh, keeping the knee out to the side. Turn the foot towards the back of the mat and step. Virabhadrasana 2. Widen your stance as needed, so left knee directly above your left ankle joint. Nice balanced pelvis. Ribs towards the long edge of your mat. Head looks over your left hand. Hug the left hip in. Wrap the left hip crease down. Straighten your left leg. Exhale, triangle pulse. So left hand to shin, floor, or block. Rotate heart open towards the sky. As you exhale, bend the left knee. Keep rotating heart up towards hand. Straighten. Bend the left knee. Press to the bottom out of your foot to straighten the left leg. Sink deep as you bend the knee. Straighten. One more bend. Bring the left hand in front of the left foot, slightly out to the side, and shift Ardha Chandrasana. Hug the left hip in, stacking the right hip on top of the left. Pubic bone towards navel. Heart rotating up towards hand. Maybe gaze is down. Maybe gaze is forward. Maybe gaze is up. Bend the left knee. Frame the left foot. Come onto the outer edge of your right foot. And then hover. Left foot over right. Left hand reaches up. Exhale, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And slowing down the breath. Inhale, come up onto the toes, gaze forward. Bend the knees, exhale, step or hop. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up, stretch up, arms over your head, gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands to your hips. Shift your weight onto your right foot, bend your left knee forward. You can either grab the knee with your fingers or take your first two fingers of your left hand and grab your left big toe. Pull the heel towards your right inner thigh to stand up straight. Hug the outer right hip in, so keep it really engaged. Right hand on the hip. Take the left leg out to the side. Left knee can stay bent or straighten. Torso rotated towards the front edge of your mat. Hug the right hip in. So really squeeze the outer right hip. Keep your leg where it is. Release the foot. Both arms out to the side. Bend the knees, step back. Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Exhale, Trikonasana. Rotate head, heart open towards your left hand. Gaze down at your right foot. Bend your right knee. Shift forward, Ardha Chandrasana. Stack left foot or left hip on top of right hip. Hug the right hip in. Lift the left leg a little higher. Bend the knee. Step the left foot to the back of the mat. Come onto the outer edge of the left foot. Bring your right foot to your inner left thigh. So Vrikshasana tree pose style. Stay here or take your right big toe and straighten. Right leg up and out to the side. Vasisthasana. Release the foot. Both hands to the ground. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Noticing what you feel in your hips, in your legs, your breath. We have one more side. Inhale, come up onto your toes, gaze between your thumbs. Bend your knees, exhale, step or hop, front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up, stretch up, arms over your head, gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands to the hips. Shift the weight into your left foot. Bend your right knee forward. Notice the pelvis, keep it stable. First two fingers. You can either grab the knee and just continue to hold the knee, or first two fingers grab the big toe. Take the heel towards the right hip, pushing the right knee out to the side. And then straighten the right leg out to the side. So, Uttita Hasta Paribhustasana. Keep squeezing the outer left hip in. Keep lifting the chest. Toe on the lower belly. Keep the leg where it is, left arm out to the side. Release the right foot. Bend the knee, take the foot to the back of the mat. Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Exhale, Trikonasana. Rotate head, heart open towards the sky. Hug the left hip in. Gaze down at the left foot, bend the left knee. Right hand comes out in front. Straighten the left leg as you stack the right hip on top of the left hip. Flex the right ankle, firm the other left hip in. Rotate heart forward. Maybe gaze forward. Bend the left knee, both hands frame the left foot. Right foot to the back, come onto the outer edge of the right foot. Lift the hips. Bring left foot to inner right thigh, coming into tree variation of side plank. Or grab the big toe and straighten left leg up. Release. Option for vinyasa. Option to downward facing dog. And breathe. And lower the knees to the floor. Separate the knees, toes together, sit the hips back. Child's pose. Come forward to tabletop. Cross the ankles. Roll the spine back onto the floor. Bend the right knee into the chest, straighten the left leg long to the ground. Grab the outer edge of your right foot with your left hand, push your right knee out. And then take the right hand, grab the outer edge of the right foot, and take the sole of the right foot up towards the sky. So like half happy baby. And take your right foot, place it on your left thigh right above your knee. Take your left hand across, grab the outer edge of your right knee and twist to the left. Right hand reaches out to the side. Rotate your heart towards your right hand. Knee to the left. Release the twist. Hug the left knee in towards your chest. Straighten the right leg. Grab the outer edge of your right foot with your left foot with your right hand. Push your knee away with your left hand. And then grab the outer edge of your left foot with your left hand. Take the sole of the foot up towards the sky as you continue to reach through your right heel. Release the arch of your left foot right above your right knee. Right hand comes to the outside of your left knee, twist to the right. Reach your head, your heart, and your left hand to the left. Release back to center. Plug both knees in towards your chest. And take a deep breath in. As you exhale, release your legs long to the ground. Release your hands down beside your body, palms facing up. Relax your jaw, your tongue, your throat. And come back into that breath that we found at the beginning of class. Softening the throat, so you can barely hear the breath. Finding the softness, the depth, and the length of your exhalations. Find the softness, the release of the body.
And start to deepen your breath.
Inviting movement back into your body. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Reaching your arms above your head, reach through heels or toes, find the inner body length. And when you're ready, bend your knees and roll onto your side body. Take a few moments here just to tune back into your breath, noticing how your body, your mind feel. And using your hands and your arms, slowly press yourself up to a seated position. And bring your hands to rest at heart center. As you inhale, lift your heart towards your hands. As you exhale, bow into the space of your heart. And thanks so much for being here this evening. The divine in me honors the divine in you. Namaste.